Tudor.
Yeah. You're talking about the civil liberties. You mean also like the press, for instance, is there's not a free and fair press, I would imagine, then as much in India.
Yes, I mean the press is actually one of the worst instances of decline, and that's there's a Reporters Without Borders came out with its ranking in 2023. Um, India is below Pakistan. It's below Hong
Wow.
Kong in its
Wow.
rankings, just to give you some comparative statistics there. And you might not there was a study a couple of years ago by Christoph Jafferlow, which looked at 3 months worth of primetime news coverage
Hmm.
of kind of the mainstream Hindi channel, and they looked for if they coded kind of each discussion of the government, and there was not a single instance in 3 months in which any reporting was critical of the government. So that's the kind of, that's one face of it. Another face of it is that there's this increasing concentration of ownership of media. So the, super majority of media today is no longer independent because it's owned by media or tycoons, business tycoons, who are very closely aligned to Modi.
Mm.
So that's both Ambani and Adani
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
these networks, and they control increasingly large shares of the media. Now there are English language um, niche reporting that is still open, but the vast majority of Indians don't read English, and so I think in many ways Western observers, I actually think, are underestimating the degree of media decline because most Indians are not reading the same
Hmm.
media that
Hmm.
they are reading, and the regional papers that are in local languages and local dialects, they are more extreme in their support and their reporting. So there's a real inability of individuals to hear critique. And let me just give you one little
Yeah.
anecdote
Yeah.
that to my mind, really sort of shook me, and really got me to think about this, and was really kind of a spur for writing the article "Why India's Democracy is Dying" in the Journal of Democracy that led us to connect. And that was that I had early last year, uh, a couple of Indian students at the school at which I teach
Hmm.
got together, and they wanted to screen a documentary that the BBC had produced. And this was a documentary which looked at Narendra Modi's role in the 2002 Gujarat riots.
Mm.
Now, it did some lot of reporting that was, I mean, really at a very high standard. They had interviewed people, and they had went to the original sources. This was a documentary that was banned in India. And then the students who came to me, they said, "We'd like to screen it. We'd love to have you there and to moderate a discussion on it." I said I would be happy to. And they said, "But please don't post on it. Please don't have the school tweet about it. Let's not put anything on our website." And I asked why not, and they said, "Because we fear that our families will be targeted."
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is in Oxford, in the United
Yeah.
Kingdom,
Yeah.
right? And so the reach of the state and the chilling effect on everyday discussions, it's very real. They asked me not to WhatsApp them because if I did and they went back in India, police will stop people sometimes in a check, and they'll ask them to unlock their phones, and they will search for critical posts.
That's
And
China-esque, right? Like
and it
that's yeah.
and that's Rupesh, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Not only is it China-esque, it's actually, to my mind, more, it's less sophisticated in many ways than the Chinese government, which understands that it needs to hear criticism to
Yeah.
perform well,
Right.
but it's more directly repressive in the mainstream than I experienced when I was in China in December, where I spoke
Interesting.
openly about some of my research.
Wow.